Good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year. I'm Reva with Quality Sewing and Vacuum, and today, we're going to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart. Do you ever feel out of control of the holidays, right? I mean, everything goes amiss, or no, it doesn't go amiss. It just gets to be a mess is actually what it is. And we do all of our projects during the holiday season, which actually makes our sewing space blow up, right? It just goes poof. So we're going to talk about organizing. I love starting my year off with getting organized and kind of getting my space kind of rejiggered. And the truth of the matter is I really like petting my stuff, so it's really fun to play with organization. So I have some things that I thought that you might enjoy. So the first thing we're going to do, and it's organization tips and some organization ideas, and if you have any questions or anything, just put them in the comment box so that way we can answer questions if you ask them. Anyhow, let's start with stabilizer. Now, did you know that stabilizer has different colored labels, right? Okay, so the stabilizer has different colored labels, and this happens to be OESD stabilizer. So there's 4 different colors of labels for the stabilizer. So, and I'm going to go right over here for the overhead. So we have the turquoise or the blue, which is wash away. We have purple, that is tear away. We have red, that is cutaway. Then we have yellow, which is specialty. Okay, so anything that washes out will have a turquoise label. Anything that tears away, purple. Anything you have to cut that stays in but you cut is on a red. And anything that is specialty, like a fusible fleece or the heat and gone, things like that, that will be in yellow. And this is the same with Floriani stabilizers. They have a color code as well, which makes it really easy for you to be able to tell what product does what in its base form. Okay, now let's take a look at some other stabilizers that I have, right? And I'll bring them over. Whoops, and I'll drop them and I'll bring them over. Let me pick that up. Okay. Now, when I open up a piece of stabilizer or a roll of stabilizer, what I do, let's find which one he is. This one. When I take my roll of stabilizer, I'll take the label, and here's my label right here for this particular stabilizer, and I roll it inside out. See, rolling it backwards. Okay. And one thing just to note on your OESD stabilizer, one reason I don't get rid of the labels is the back side has the instructions for it, which is really, really helpful. But the front side, of course, tells what it is. And I don't know about you, but after a week, after I've opened up white stuff all looks like white stuff, and I have no idea what that white stuff is, right? So, or I have to do some investigating. So what I like to do is to roll the label with what it is on the inside and then stick it down inside the roll. Then on this one, I don't know if we can see, do the overhead. Let's take a look and see if we can see. I can see the red. And then I can also peek down there and read that it says polymesh. So I know what this is right off the bat. Okay, now let's take a look at this one. I'm going to move my messy white stuff. You get the point, right? White stuff just looks like white stuff once the wrapper's gone. Okay, so I'm going to set this over here, and I'm going to put this one over there too. This guy is a tearaway sticky, but my label, I didn't keep the colored label. I just kept the white one, so it really doesn't do me any good. So this is a tearaway, and I can test that, right? It's a tearaway, and it has an adhesive paper, so it's a tearaway sticky. So what color would that fall into? It's a tearaway, so it's going to be a purple, right? Purple. So what I'm going to do is take my fancy dancy, this is my clipboard for the day with my scratch paper on it, and I'm going to take a marker that is purple, and I am just going to not put the lid on because it doesn't fit, but I am going to come and color the edge all the way down. Okay, does that make sense? The whole way. I'm going to color that purple, so that way when I roll it inside and pop it inside my roll of stabilizer, I got to roll it a little bit tighter. Then I'm going to be able to see the purple banding right there, purple. So I know that this is tear away. Okay, so that helps a lot, right? Because then you're going to be able to know what your area looks like. And I don't know about you, but I have a lot of stabilizer, and partly because I rebuy the stabilizer because I didn't realize I had the stabilizer. And if you look at, if I looked at every type of stabilizer OESD had in each category, I bet you I have multiples of at least one of those varieties, right? Because I have a lot of stabilizer. So I would say in just the wash away, I probably have 5 rolls of wash away just because I rebought. And I'm not talking about the different variations of wash away, I'm just talking about the standard, okay? So this can help keep you from doing that because you know what you have, okay? Now, let's look at a way to keep that otherwise organized. So what I did is I have my markers, and I've got one, I'll do this way. I've got a color for each that matches each of my labels. Okay, so I can make sure I can do that to all of them. And as you go, if you have just Crayola markers or whatever, you can just put them in a little Ziploc bag or something and keep them right by your stabilizer so you always have them, so you're ready to be prepared. Otherwise, take 35 minutes or 40 minutes and do this to the ones you have. Then what I did is I made myself a key. Okay, and I put in here wash away, tear away, cut away, and specialty. So I knew without having to remember what it was. And you could put a little ribbon on it. I put a little, this is just a little book ring. And so I can hang this because I have the shelving with the open racks. I have a place to hang it. So this can hang right on my shelf with my stabilizer. So when I see a color, I know exactly what it is. Okay, all right, now let's talk about another way to organize your stabilizers, and that is with something like this. And this is awesome. This is the Easy Access Stabilizer Rack. Now it has 5 shelves, and each shelf has 3 divots in it. Let me show you what those divots look like. So think of this as a more exciting wine rack, right? Because it's got divots so your round items won't roll off. Okay, so in your package you get 2 of these arms and you mount them to your wall. I suggest putting them in a stud, right? And then just make sure that you put them the distance apart that you need to fit your smallest roll of stabilizer. If you make them for the long ones, you can't hang this guy, right? And then you can load them up with the different varieties. So maybe, okay, so this holds 3 on each arm. And so you should just use 3 on each arm. Am I going to do that? No, I'm not going to do that, because if I have 4 of this one, I'm going to stack one. Okay, I wouldn't get it too heavy, but use a stud, right? In the package, it does come with the whole wall expander doohickeys. So if you screw it in, it will stay in the drywall, but studs are your friend, right? Okay, so then you can load this up and you can put wash away, tear away, cut away, specialty, and overages. So you have one for every category plus a bonus. Okay, so makes life really, really easy. I highly suggest that guy. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about with stabilizer, I guess we're done with stabilizer. I don't want to talk about stabilizer anymore. So I'm going to put this over on this shelf here, and we're just going to move on to the next thing, and we're going to talk about thread, because thread is pretty exciting. I love thread. I don't know about you, but I absolutely love thread. So now, if you want to keep your thread organized, that's a good thing to do. And since we're talking about wall units, there is this guy right here, and this is the Easy Access Thread Rack. Now this is also from R&K, and this holds 60 spools of thread on one rack. Okay, again, studs are your friend. It comes with a little things anyway. And then it comes, you slide the little sections. Let's go over here. We'll kind of go over here. You're not going to go over here very far, but here he is right here. These little guys slide in from the back side, so it makes it really easy. And you can just simply put them all on your wall. And like I said, it holds 60 at a time, so you can put your whole collection up there. If you like Floriani thread and you have all 320 colors, whatever it is, you can get 4 of these, right? And that should take care of your whole library of thread. Or if you need more, go for more, right? So this is just a really, really handy thing to have. Now, if you don't have wall space, you might already have some of these, or you might love these. And these are the Floriani thread boxes. And this box is really pretty cool. It has a drawer, but the drawer has a little latch here. You push down and you can open up so it locks. And then the little drawer comes out, and then the foam in here, if you have a shorter spool, will work, but the foam is actually to protect the little pegs and shipment. So then your little threads can go right in here, and not even in color order, right? So there you can fill up your whole thing, put all pinks in one drawer set, put all blues in a drawer set, do whatever makes you happy, and they stack. So you get all your threads together. The other thing, and you probably noticed that I did take out this drawer. So if you want to take the drawer out and put in here the threads you're using on a specific project, then you have the drawer you can take over to your machine and you can use just the threads that you're using for that project. Okay, that's pretty cool, right? Okay, how does it hold the big threads? Very good question. Let's see, how does it hold it? Snugly. No, if you took out one of these, you probably could put a big spool in sideways, but you're not going to hold very many. 1, 2, 3, probably 6 cones maybe in here total. Okay. Now, and let me talk about that for another point to that for a second is that also, when I started my embroidery business, I had a specific job. I was so excited about it, and it called for a purple like this. And I bought cones. I bought like 3 cones of, oh my goodness, he was my main client. Oh, I had to do everything in purple, right? I still have those stinking cones, and it's been years. So consider just getting the little ones for all your different colors, because you can easily rebuy them, right? But in cones for industrial on a multi-needle, I'll get cones in the colors that I use a lot. So if you're going to use a lot of a color, then get the cone. Just don't buy 4 of the same color unless you're doing a whole lot, okay? But these little guys are nice and they store nicely. Now, talking about this one, you would have to test that because there is enough space here, but there's not enough space in between each one of these pegs to hold or accommodate a large spool. If you wanted to get one to dedicate toward that, you probably could, but you would have to probably remove every other peg, and I don't even know if the pegs are really long enough to really support the weight of a large cone. So they are designed for the mini kings. Okay, so hopefully that answers any questions on that. Okay, so we've talked about this. We talked about how that locks in place, which I really like, because if you want to go someplace, they do lock in place. Okay, now let's talk about something else about going places. Let's go places. We're going to go places. This is really awesome. This is the Baby Lock. It's an organizer, and it's a double layer organizer. Can't exactly remember the official name of it, but let's open up maybe the bottom side of this. Isn't it cute with the gold zipper and everything? But down in here, there are little cubbies, and there's a big zipper cubby right here. But this is designed for you to put the threads that you're working with. So maybe you're going to go to a retreat, you're going over to a friend's house to sew. You can actually put the threads right in this bag. Okay, and we're going to talk about some more things about this bag in just a minute. Okay, all right, so thread. Let's get one of these little guys out. Have you ever noticed that when you're working with your threads, they like to unspool themselves all by themselves, even though you try to wrap them up? And yes, they may have the little gripper on an end to help keep it in place. Doesn't always work, at least not for me. So what I really like is the terrific tape. This stuff sticks to itself. It sticks to itself. So if you take it and wrap it around your spool, then around a little bit more, like maybe half, so it has something to grip onto, it will hold those tails and it won't come unwrapped. Love this. This is good for a rainy day when you can't do anything else because, man, it's wet out there. So just sit and you can play with your thread. Okay. All right. So that is that. Now let's talk about that little travel that we're going on. Well, we're going to get back to that. We're not traveling yet. I got to show you some stuff so we can get into our travel. This is really a cool little guy. This is the, it's a stash and store is what it's called. And it has this really great, let me take some of the bits and pieces out of this. In fact, I'll take all the bits and pieces. Boy, I really took all the bits and pieces out of it. Okay, so this little guy has this well, it's not a honeycomb, but it's a really cute little silicone grippy bits to it. And you can stick your stuff into it and it holds on to it. But the base is weighted so you can set it right next to your sewing area. And then you have access to everything you need. It comes in the small size. Whoops, upside down, sorry. Small size, and then it also comes in a longer size. And they come in a myriad of different colors, and obviously the color of the box shows you what color, excuse me, is inside the stash and store that is inside that box. Now, one thing that I like about this stash and store is that you can also put it inside the top layer of your little accessory bag. So in the bottom layer, we have room for the threads, and then you have some scissors or whatever space you want to use that little cubby for. And in the top, I have a tray down here that's big enough for scissors, a rotary cutter, other tools, and then there's pockets up here that you can use to put your other accessories into. Okay, so you can just fill this up, and you have one little perfect place to take to a friend's house, to a retreat, or whatever you might want to do with that. Okay? All right, so that's lots of fun. Now, let's talk about another thread item that gets out of control, and that would be bobbins. So I highly suggest a bobbin saver. There's different types. There's the long rectangular one. If you're a symmetrical person, you like this one. If you like curves and asymmetrical things, then maybe the ring is good for you. And they come in different colors. But the bobbins just pop right in here, and then that helps hold the tails. Of course, these tails haven't been controlled to begin with, but if you had spooled it up, it would have controlled those tails as well. But look at all the bobbins it can hold. So this is awesome. And this is a great thing to have, even just this little one, because you can pop that right in the top inside your little case. Oops, I actually zipped it, not unzipped it. You can slip that right in there and you're off to your retreat as well. Okay? All right, so that is the bobbins. Now, let's talk about needles real quick. So if you are going to be going, well, you're using needles. We all use needles, right? So the needles, this is a great thing to have. It is called My Pad. Now, what this is it will let you know what needle is in your machine currently, and it's also a place to put needles that you've only used like once and they haven't outlived their life, right? So you have the different types: universal, super nonstick, jeans, hem stitch, embroidery, serger needles, metallic, they're labeled that way. Then the little sections are by size. Okay, now it comes with this little pin. See, it's like a flower head pin, and what you do is you slip it into the section so it shows you which needle you have in your machine right now. Okay, so that way you know. Okay, I'm going to tell you a story. I got to tell you, because this cracks me up. So, several years ago now, I went, because my daughter was still at home, so she was in high school or college at the time, I don't remember. But, I was at home, and I could not see what size the needle was. You know how they imprint it on the end, right? On the chubby end? So I took it into the other room where my husband was. I said, honey, could you tell me what numbers are on this needle? And he looked at it and he says, there aren't any. So I gave it to my daughter and she says, it's a size 90, Mom. I said, thank you. Anyway, it just cracked myself up because my husband had no idea there was even any numbers on it at all. But this will save you from that. Unless you want to make fun of your husband, then feel free. But anyway, so this tells you which needle, and then that is in the machine, and then if you have one, like I said, like maybe say I just did one turn around a pant leg on a hem with a top stitch, I can slip that right in here so I can reserve that so I can use it again. Now here's a quiz for you. How long should you use a needle? What's the life of a needle? Da, 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 da. You're right. I know you're all saying it. 8 hours. 8 hours of sewing is the standard life of a needle. It is not until it goes dull. It is not until it gets a burr. If that happens, you got to get it out of there right away. Now, here's the reason why. And I know it can feel expensive to buy an unglamorous item for $5 or $10, whatever you spend on a pack of needles, right? That can feel really painful because it's not fun. I'd rather spend that on a spool of thread, right? However, if you have a bad needle, and you think it's okay, but it could be bad because it's, just for whatever reason, it could cause your machine to go out of time. And if you, heaven forbid, strike a pin or it hits your bobbin case, get it out of there because it may be bent and then it could really damage your machine. So let's talk about that for a second. A package of needles, say it's $5 or $10, that's the cheapest line of defense for a well-running machine. So that's my soapbox for today. Okay, all right, so that's this really cool thing, and like I said, I really enjoy using mine. I have it right in that top drawer of my, to the left of my machine, so I'm ready to use it at any time. Okay. Other thing for fun organization. Do you do embroidery? Well, a lot of us do. This is the embroidery. I'm sorry, it's an embroidery makes everything better is what it says, but this is a USB organizer, but it does more than that. So let me slide this guy off. Isn't that cute? So cute. And then I'm going to open it up, and inside this little tiny, I mean, seriously, this is not a big bundle, right? But inside it holds a ton. So it has a zipper pocket up here where you can put pens and things like that. But look, it holds 6 USB sticks on one side and 6 USB sticks over here, which you cannot see. But here, I'll prove it. Look. It holds 6 USB sticks on this side, so that's a total of 12 USB sticks. Plus, it has a little retention. It's a little seat belt here for things like your needles, your scissors, or anything else that you want to put in here. So if you're going to a retreat, you're going to an embroidery class, you're going to any type of class, this is a great thing to have with you. And if you have, you're working on a lot of projects, why not have all the different projects on a different stick, label your sticks, right? Oh, which I don't have here, but that's another thing that's really awesome are the OESD tiny tags, because they have little labels on them and you could put what on that stick and put it on there so you don't have to put it in your computer to figure it out. That's very useful. And you also can put it on your scissors or anything else when you're going someplace to sew, so it has your name on it. Okay, all right, so that's really cool. And then let's talk really fast about this. This is the magic pins, and it is the alpha numbers and arrows. Okay, so what this is used for is when you're working on a quilt project, it helps you organize the pieces. So you know how there's a couple of different ways to use this. If you have a pattern and it says piece A, piece B, piece C, you could put A, B, C right in, pin it in the piece. Okay, what they're showing right here is when you're laying out your quilt, you can label your columns 1, 2, 3, 4 and your rows A, B, C, D, and so that way you can make sure that you get them back to where they go. But this is really a handy little guide too. But one of my favorite things or something that I really appreciate is having my work surface organized. I want to be able to have access to my rulers and my rotary cutters at any moment in time. I also don't want them necessarily laying on the surface because it makes a pile. I want to be able to see them, and I'm going to move this stuff over here so I can show you this. This is the Quilting Ruler Rack and Organizer. Okay, so, oh, there we go, that's good. And this thing is really awesome because it has little grooves where you can, little slashes where you can put your rulers and they will sit there and wait for you. Now in the little cubbies, there's a cubby in the front and a cubby in the back, and the front is the back is the front. There is no left or right is wrong kind of a thing. But I have in here, I have my rotary cutter, so it's handy and ready for me. And then on the other side, I have things like my pink tape, hand lotion, all that good stuff. So I'm ready to go. I usually also keep a marking pen or two in there. And for me, I push it off to the side of my cutting table so I have all my space to do my cutting, and I can just simply reach over, grab the ruler that I want, and then grab my rotary cutter, and everything's right where I need it to be. Okay, and it helps keep my surface clean. Okay, how would I track time hours on the needles that have been used? Oh, that is a great question. So you can use your phone or maybe a stopwatch for like a track meet. No, don't do that. That's just ridiculous. But if you are in the sewing room and you're going to sew all day, put a fresh needle in and give yourself the best run. And then if you're going to do a nice full day the next day, when you start, just put in a fresh needle. So that's just generally what a friend of mine taught me, is just every day just start with a fresh needle, because even if you went 8.5 or 9 hours in that one day, you still got your good life out of that needle, and it's good to start. And if you want to go as far as I only sewed half a day, maybe put a post-it note on your machine that just says 1/2, and then you sew another half day and you switch it out. Okay, but no harm in switching them out every time you sit down to sew. Okay. All right, with that, now, one more thing I'm going to show you here, and then I'm going to show you something really cool. This is really awesome. These are really cool, and you may want to come into one of our stores in Western Washington and see this. This is the Creative Tiles, and also you can find all of this other stuff on our website at qualitysewing.com, and you can pick up any of these items that you need. But this is really cool. So let me open this up and show you what these are. This is a design wall in a box. I mean, seriously, it's like an instant felt wall. So you have these really great tiles, and the tiles have the grid on them, and they're meant to go together. So notice how I made a square. Well, if I could, wrong way, line them up. There we go, a little bit too much. But anyway, you get the idea, right? You just put them on your wall side by side, and they're gonna make their little grid, and they're just peel and stick. They go right on your wall, and you get, I believe it is 12 of them. Yep, you get 12 tiles, and they're 1 foot each. There are 12 by 12 tiles. You get 12 of them, so you can put them up in any configuration that you want. So if you do baby quilts, you could do, little size. If you want to do it wider, you can get a couple of boxes and do 12 by 12 and make a huge quilt. Just fill your whole wall. And if you have a wall like that, I'm really envious, because I don't have a wall like that in my sewing room, but I have smaller spaces that these are working really well. Even a hallway, right? My sewing room actually has a little hallway that you get to it, so I could put these right there on my hallway and it doesn't bother anything. So that's really pretty cool. Okay, so these are awesome. And then I want to talk a little bit really quick about this cabinet that I've been standing at. So this cabinet is the Horn Ultimate Storage cabinet, and what's really neat about it is it's a work surface because the back flips up and doubles the depth. It actually might even more than double the depth a little bit, but it's just really large. So it's a great size cutting table, and it's on casters. So if you want to roll it out of the way when you're not using it, hey Chris, that one's got to come up because I had no head. So, but anyway, it rolls out of the way, can go against the wall, and you'll notice here that there's a space. Can you see that there's a space right here? Okay, so now when I open up this door, it folds back on itself. So those little doors go right out of the way. I'm not going to do that on the other side because I have that fancy dancy little cart over there. But you have areas in here that you could put your rulers, your cutting mats, all sorts of things. Then you've got these beautiful drawers that can afford you lots of space, and even a deep one. So if you want to keep your stabilizers in a drawer, you can do that. So this is indeed the ultimate cutting table because it has more than just cutting. It has the storage. It is amazing. So I think you're going to love it, and the height is fabulous. Okay, so I think that covers all my bits and pieces. I hope that helps you be inspired to get off to a clean new start with your organization of your space. Even if you make one change, it can help make your sewing experience much better. So if any of these products interest you, just check out one of our stores in Western Washington, or go to our website at qualitysewing.com. And I said Western Washington, but we also have one in the Tri-Cities as well, so don't forget about popping over there if you're in the area. So other than that, I hope you can get off to a wonderfully organized new year, and we will see you next week at our next How Do I?